Hey guys, so it's been a week, and once again, every single week trying to do this. But my whole week has been consisted of doing like a bunch of schoolwork all the time and everything, so I haven't had time to get a book review ready or anything. But I just wrote my last speech for my communications class, and I just did it today, and for the end of the semester. So I thought I'd read it because it's actually related to this channel. Okay. When was the last time you escaped into a book? Some people like me would say a few days ago. Others might say that they've been busy and possibly haven't in a couple of months. Then, sadly, most would say they don't know what I mean when I say escape into a book. However, if I asked the last time a person watched TV was, they would probably say yesterday or a couple of days ago. I read that the average person between ages 15 and 24 spends 2 to 2.5 hours a day watching TV and only 7 minutes reading. That's really sad and pathetic. It doesn't specify what they are reading either. It might possibly just be a small thing online, text from a friend, or homework that was forced to be done. This is a problem with today's society. I think that people, especially younger adults, should read more. It gives you a wider range of vocabulary and grammar. It's a way to show us history, and most important, it enlightens your mind. Now lots of people would argue and say that there are educational things on television, and that is true. But the problem is, you are just watching, not actually seeing the words. My college English class was recently going over sentence structure, and most of the students didn't even know what a preposition was. This is simple stuff that was taught in elementary school. When you read, you actually see the words. See how the sentences are written, over and over in many different ways. So by the time you get to a college level... Really, Kat? Sorry. So by the time you get to a college level, you should be in complete understanding. Reading is also a way to learn new words. I remember around 6th grade I started reading the series of Unfortunate Events. I remember being amazed because he would use words I've never heard of, most times even give a definition in the story because he knew how many of the readers haven't learned it yet. It was books like that that gave me a lesson when I was reading, and most times I didn't even realize it. Even if you do know many words and vocabulary terms, people don't think to use them, but would be surprisingly shocked by how often they are used in the book. The more you read and see the world in certain contexts, the more times you'll be confident to use those words. Or even start saying them without realizing it. So when people say reading doesn't give you a wider range of vocabulary, they are mistaken. If it wasn't for books, we would not know anything. Information from the past and any facts that changed the world would be forever gone. Lots of people don't realize how much a few words can impact our society. If it wasn't for books, many discoveries would be lost forever. We wouldn't know any math, which would mean no electronics now. We wouldn't know about the past, like how the world has evolved since the 1800s, 1400s, or even 100 BC. This is also why we need books for the future. People could argue that we have technology now. We don't need to write it down, as long as we say it and have it in a video or something, and it'll be fine. The only problem with that is television and other ways of entertainment will come and go. For example, when is the last time you watched a VHS or listened to a record? Even if 3D TVs or iPods seem high-tech now, they will eventually be irrelevant to society and forgotten. Books, on the other hand, will last forever. Even simple young adult books written now tell a lot about us. You might not think it, but reading about a teenager IMing someone, or a person driving a car, will show people in the future how we lived. Another problem, though, is people not appreciating the history. They hear about it so much, so they have no interest in actually reading it for themselves. Or knowing it's from the past automatically makes them assume it's boring. Even if a book was written in the past, doesn't mean the people in the storyline aren't relatable. People in the past still had emotions and thoughts that we have today. But if you mention reading Charles Dickens or watching older movies like White Christmas or Topper, most of the youth will have no interest and not realize how much we are like those characters. Luckily, people have more creative ways to teach about the past. There are historical fiction books and movies that take place in that time period that people write now. Maybe reading books like that will inspire more readers to look into that time period and find out what it was really like. And sorry if you jumped, my cats are like having a huge wrestling match, which is why I'm not doing this perfectly. Before I mentioned the term escaping into a book. I know that happens to me all the time. If I have a good book in my hands, I will not move for hours. I need to know what will happen next, and sometimes what I can find out can make me think differently and even change my life. You become the character and are feeling how they're feeling, seeing what they are seeing. Sometimes after reading, you go back to your normal life and might even still feel like that character. To me, this is what it feels like to escape into a book. You leave behind your life for a little while and experience someone else's. Many people don't ever do that. Sure, watching TV shows can make you think, but when you read, you feel like you are truly experiencing it, not just watching an actor on TV portraying it. It's a form of entertainment that will never become old. What makes it even more amazing is when you find out another person that has read that book. It's a way to communicate with someone. You can argue, have debates, see if they laughed or cried the same times you did, and realize someone else has similar feelings. You get a whole new connection with that person, compared to just watching a movie in a theater with a giant group of people. Then, not only can you talk to the person about that one book, you can recommend more and find out about more books for yourself. And the great thing about reading is, there's always another book out there to read. Anytime I go to the bookstore with friends, I have a list of more than 20 books I want to buy. Then, of course, I browse and find even more to add to the list. No matter how often I read, there will always be more to discover, and even more that hasn't been written yet. There are many movies and channels on TV, but you being interested in them only goes so far. Soon you'll end up watching old shows over and over, or being bored because there's never anything on TV. There's a reason kids get excited when they are learning how to read. Sadly, many people lose those feelings as they get older. But reading more will keep that spark in you that makes you fall in love with it. You can become connected with books on a whole new level than other forms of entertainment. This is why many people need to learn about how something as small as words being written and bound together to create a book can change your life. Lots of people live without doing this. Not only do many people not know how to read, but people who have the chance to experience what I just wrote about choose not to. More and more people need to read. If you already read, try to get others to follow, because reading is a lot more important to society than you think. And next time you ever try to say that books are TV, bleh. The last one, I would screw up on that. And the next time you ever try to say that books are boring and TV's better, think again. So obviously I did that a lot better in class because I didn't have cats wrestling and I was doing it at a bunch of people and my professor, so I didn't want to screw up. But yeah, that was basically it. I actually really like how it came out, and it was my last speech, so I really wanted to make sure it was good. So, yeah, I hope you like it. Hopefully, by next week, I'll have City of Bones out. Okay, bye guys.